So one of your big projects is one of trying to make genomic data available for the whole world, people who aren't professional geneticists, and showing how all organisms are related to all others. You call it the tree of life, is that right?
Yeah, so actually there's a website called timetree.org.
TimeTree.
Yeah, TimeTree. This website essentially is a way to bring science to public. So what happens is scientists are always writing research papers and they are making discoveries. And in this particular instance, they are actually timing the origin of species. Oh, when the
species split off from another species.
From another species, that's the common ancestor. When did the common
ancestor... when was our last common ancestor with other primates?
Yeah, so basically that would be, there are many different primates. So if you think about humans and chimps, that would be 5 to 7 million years. And you go from all the way to
last common ancestors.
Yeah, last common ancestors. So essentially we have this divergence time. That species diverged 5 million years ago, that one diverged 10 million years ago, the monkeys and human.
So people talk about the coalescent. What's that referred to?
So coalescence has to do a lot with population genetics. So if you think about all the humans living today, which we call modern humans, anatomically modern humans, then if we were to look at the common ancestor of all of us, then that would be called the most recent common ancestor and the coalescence point in the human population.
So the coalescence point is the point at which our population split off from other primates? Is that correct? Or not quite right?
So coalescence time is sort of a time when we all trace back our ancestor. However, at that point, a lot of other individuals lived.
Right.
But
it wasn't just one.
Yeah, wasn't just one. And essentially today, the population we have represents, coalesces back to the same time and represents that set of individuals there. But for the mitochondrial DNA, which is in the powerhouse of the cell, the interpretation is much simpler, where you can actually take mitochondrial DNA, which is maternally inherited from mother to son and daughter.
So it only comes through the mother, not through the father.
Yeah, and that's where you can go back to the single woman.
So that's the idea of Eve.
Maternal Eve, yeah.
And how far back do people think maternal Eve was, this hypothetical?
It's about 100,000 years ago.
That's pretty recent.
Yeah, so that's very recent, and that's much more recent than our common ancestor with chimpanzee, which is 5 to 7 million years.
Does that mean there was only one woman back 100,000 years ago?
No, there were lots of women. However,
only one mitochondrion?
They were all different mitochondria, most likely, but all our currently living individuals can trace or coalesce back to that one woman, the DNA. And essentially, if you were to say, well, maybe the second woman, they're also left offspring, then you go down into the current humans, and then you would go to the mother of those two. So essentially, you will always end up with one mother. And that's the beauty of the mitochondrial DNA, which does not recombine as it is transmitted from parent to offspring, of parent to child, and that's why we can trace it back. Similarly, you can trace back Y chromosome.
So your tree, though, uses more than mitochondrial DNA, right?
So our tree focus is on species. We're interested in ancestry of humans with other species, as I said, monkeys and rodents and marsupials, or you can go out and think about birds and other animals. So what we have built is a resource that takes all the published research in which people have estimated these times and puts it together in a giant database.
And it's not just primates, you go to everything.
Yeah, everything.
Yeast.
Yeah, all the way to yeast, bacteria, everything.
Viruses.
Yeah,
viruses?
We don't have any viruses because they don't fit neatly in the tree of life, as you know.
Right.
But we have all the bacteria, the bacterial groups, and we have animals, plants, fungi, algae, all of these species. And so the good thing about this resource is timetree.org, that you can go in and say, I want to know the time of divergence or ancestry between humans and mice. And you say the word human, you say the word mouse on the screen, and you say press go. And it will actually tell you.
What does it show you?
It will show you around 92 million years, and it will show that there are 50 to 70 studies in which this has been estimated, and this is the average over all the studies. It will also show you that researchers have large number of opinions about that number being anywhere from 60 to 70 million years, all the way up to 110 million years.
So instead of just giving the answer, you actually connect people with the basic data just to see how much scientists argue with each other.
Yeah, and that's, I think, is a progress in science, where we want people to know not only the average scientific fact, what is the consensus in the field, but also the diversity in the field.
So how many papers are in your database, do you estimate?
So right now we have programmed in results from approximately 3,000 publications, and the number of species in the database are about 100,000.
100,000?
Yeah.
But there are plenty more to go.
Plenty more to go, and that's why the National Science Foundation and many other agencies are providing money to actually build the tapestry of life.
I've got to say, this is a great use of tax dollars. I mean, this is something that everybody can use by taking this basic data. I mean, I was interested if the mosquitoes that transmit Zika are closely related or distantly related to the ones that transmit malaria.
And they're distant, 100 million or plus.
100 million or plus.
Yeah.
But you could look at two other mosquitoes and see how similar they are,
yeah,
and get some idea about similarities and differences.
Yeah, because the scientists in biology and other fields need this information to basically see how fast things are changing.
Right.
And public needs it because they need to learn what is the relationship of not just humans, but other species to each other.
Right. So also, if you take a look at his database, it's beautiful. So just take a look at, what's the URL once more?
TimeTree.org.
TimeTree.org. Continually developing and gorgeous to look at and fun to play with. Thank you.
Thanks.